He didn't stalk his victims for weeks. He didn't plan elaborate schemes. He simply walked in, through unlocked windows, through back doors, into homes where people were sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that death was already inside. He left pentagrams at his crime scenes. He shouted, "Hail Satan," in court. He smiled at the cameras. And across the entire state of California, nobody slept soundly for over a year. He triggered widespread panic. Gun sales surged across Los Angeles. People installed extra locks, bolted their windows shut, and still, he kept coming. This is the story of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and the one mistake that finally ended his reign of terror. Richard Ramirez was born in El Paso, Texas, to Mexican immigrant parents. From the very beginning, the odds were against him. His father had a history of violence and was often abusive. His mother, though not abusive, was emotionally distant. Richard suffered multiple head injuries as a child. He developed epilepsy. He began having hallucinations. And as a young boy, he was already smoking marijuana. But the most disturbing influence in his life was his cousin, Miguel. Miguel was a Vietnam War veteran who showed the young Ramirez photographs of women he had abused. Richard was just a child. And then, Miguel fatally shot his own wife in the face during a fight, while Ramirez was present in the room. Something in Richard Ramirez broke that day, and it never healed. He dropped out of school. He moved between relatives. He developed a deep obsession with Satanism and heavy metal music. He began burglarizing homes, practicing breaking in, moving silently, leaving no trace. He listened to dark, heavy metal music on repeat while driving through neighborhoods at night, hunting for his next target. Nobody knew what was coming. June 1984, Los Angeles, California. Jenny Vincow, 79 years old, was found murdered in her Los Angeles apartment, nearly decapitated. It was Richard Ramirez's first confirmed murder as the Night Stalker. But then, almost 9 months passed. Nothing. And then, in March 1985, he came back. Within a single 10-day period, there were 5 more attacks, with just one victim left alive. The lone survivor, Maria Hernandez, described her attacker: tall, dark, long curly hair, rotting teeth, bulging eyes, and an overwhelming, pungent odor. What made Ramirez different from every serial killer before him was how completely unpredictable he was. His victims were white, Asian, Latino, men, women, and children. He broke into apartments and houses across Los Angeles and San Francisco. He used guns, knives, and his bare hands. Police initially believed multiple killers were responsible. No pattern, no logic, no consistency. Ramirez killed with more frequency than a typical serial killer and spread fear over much of California. At crime scenes, he left his calling card, pentagrams drawn on walls, on victims, on mirrors. In the spring and summer of 1985, the attacks accelerated. In some cases, 2 or 3 attacks occurred in a single hellish night. Los Angeles was paralyzed with fear. And then, Ramirez made it worse. He moved north. On August 18th, Ramirez struck in the San Francisco Bay Area, shooting 2 victims in the head. He drew a pentagram at the scene and wrote lyrics from a heavy metal song on the wall. The fear that had consumed Los Angeles now spread to the entire state of California. Detectives Gil Carrillo and Frank Salerno had been working the case for months. The evidence was scattered. The victims were random. But slowly, a picture began to emerge. A shoe print from a men's Avia sneaker was found at multiple crime scenes, linking the murders across different neighborhoods. Then came the breakthrough. A fingerprint was discovered, and matched using a newly available computerized fingerprint system. The name that came back: Richard Ramirez, 29 years old. El Paso, Texas. A drifter with a prior arrest for car theft. Officials released his mugshot with a warning. "We know who you are now, and soon everyone else will. There will be no place you can hide." His photo was on the front page of every newspaper in California. But there was one problem. The mayor of San Francisco had publicly revealed the specific clues police were using to track the killer, the gun type and the shoe prints, infuriating detectives. Ramirez saw the news. He threw his Avia shoes off the Golden Gate Bridge and kept moving. August 31st, 1985. Ramirez had been on the run for days. He was in East Los Angeles, trying to steal a car. But this time, someone recognized him. A woman refused to give Ramirez her car keys. Her husband ran over and struck him with a fence post. A crowd quickly gathered and beat Ramirez into submission until police arrived. The Night Stalker, the man who had terrorized all of California, was taken down not by the FBI, not by detectives, but by ordinary people on a street in East Los Angeles. Outside the police station, crowds had gathered, hoping to glimpse the man who had caused so much fear. Onlookers cheered as Ramirez was placed in the squad car. When officers told him he was under arrest, Ramirez reportedly said, "Hey, big deal. Death always comes with the territory." The trial of Richard Ramirez was one of the most dramatic in American history. The trial was delayed when one of the jurors was found shot to death in her home, a murder that struck terror into all the jurors, even though it was eventually blamed on her boyfriend. Inside the courtroom, Ramirez played to the cameras. He flashed a pentagram he had drawn on his palm and declared, "Hail Satan" in the courtroom. He never showed any remorse, and often turned to jeer at the victims as they testified. Women sent him love letters. Fan mail arrived daily. One woman, Doreen Leoy, married him in prison in October 1996. But no amount of dark charisma could overcome the evidence. Ramirez was convicted of 67 felonies, including 14 murders, and received 19 death sentences. When the judge read the verdict, Ramirez smiled. He said, "Big deal. Death always comes with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland." Richard Ramirez spent the rest of his life on death row at San Quentin State Prison in California. He never expressed remorse. He never cooperated with investigators. He continued to receive fan mail until the very end. On June 7th, 2013, Richard Ramirez died from lymphoma at the age of 53. He died before the state of California could execute him. In the end, the man who thought he was beyond good and evil died quietly in a hospital bed. Not in a blaze of dark glory. Not on the electric chair. Just gone. But the question that true crime investigators still ask today is this: how many victims were never found? Ramirez claimed 67 felonies officially, but investigators believe the real number of his victims was significantly higher. In 2009, DNA analysis connected Ramirez to the 1984 rape and murder of 9-year-old Mei Lung, a crime that had gone unsolved for 25 years. How many more cases remain? How many families never got answers? Those questions, like so many in true crime, may never be fully answered. What do you think? How many victims did the Night Stalker really have? Drop your answer in the comments. New true crime case every week. Subscribe so you never miss one. Next case is one of the darkest stories ever told.